Greetings, everyone. I'm What Hamster.
And you're wearing some rather interesting armor this time.
Yep, it is a three-piece set of armor that most people just skip over. I normally skip over it, but since I'm doing a Let's Play, I figured I'd show something new off. Show those dead eyes as well.
They sure are.
There are a few three-piece sets of armor in the game, and normally they'll give a very powerful boost to whatever they're themed for.
Because there's only three pieces to get actual skills, so yeah.
And usually you'll either use maybe one or two pieces and then mix it with something else and then gem the skill in you want.
Right. Have some good Frankenstein armor going on.
Well, yeah, some of the best armor sets are Frankenstein, though.
Exactly.
If you know how to decorate your things properly, yeah, you can get some pretty good things. But the base armor set here is just it's a swimming themed armor. You get some oxygen up, absolutely useless. Olympic swimmer, which is wonderful, so you can swim faster. And current resistance, if you're fighting large monsters, you won't be pushed back as much by their when they swim by you real fast.
Always helpful. If a bit situational.
Very situational, but I tend to bring situational armors to fights. At least in the single player.
May as well. If you know the situation.
Well, yeah, and clearly I've farmed all these things, and he's trolling me.
Yeah, he does that.
Yeah, but I enjoy reading the flavor text of the NPCs. I'm sure most people don't actually read what the NPCs say. The only NPC I don't really care about is the pun lady.
I don't know. Her jokes are better than yours sometimes.
But they're so painful.
And you... Oh, it's like you've never heard your own jokes.
Yeah, but I don't have to listen to myself.
Oh, that's your excuse.
Yeah, that's literally my excuse. I just shut off.
Oh, right. I understand now. You say bad jokes to make other people suffer, so when you're the one having to suffer, you don't like them.
Exactly, I'm a hypocrite.
Okay, fair enough.
At least I'm an honest hypocrite. I admit it.
Oh, dear.
But, probably most people are shouting at me to, skip all the tutorial stuff, skip all talking to the villagers, skip 1 to 2 star. But you know what? This is a Let's Play. I'm here to show off the game, not and just have fun with it. I'm not here to just go oh well, here's the best 3 parts of the game. LPO.
Oh, yeah, people like that can just skip ahead. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. They can wait for the real videos to come out. That lady. Friendly villager.
Oh, dear.
But she does give you some useful tips, albeit you have to learn them a painful way through terrible pun being put in somewhere.
I think the biggest problem with her is when she tries to explain her jokes.
Yeah. If you have to explain your joke, it's already failed.
Yep.
But funny thing that she should mention monster guts. That's something we're gonna go out and get. Delicious monster guts.
So delicious that you're not allowed to keep them.
So delicious that they melt in your mouth and apparently also in your inventory.
So delicious that they're confiscated immediately so the guilty can eat them.
Yeah, that is kind of her theme. I don't like the guilty. She's kind of a wench.
Oh, she's not that bad. It's not her fault the guild has horrible rules and, things.
And if you talk to her enough, she will usually talk about how to clean fish and make sushi rolls and stuff. I kind of like that, actually. She don't know nothing about monster hunting, but she does know how to clean fish and cut them up. She is a fishmongeress, after all.
Of course. She would be very good at her job if she didn't know how to do it.
So, we need to get monster guts.
Only 3? Oh man,
That's
single
not very
player.
many.
It's
Yeah.
been so long since I've done single player. Everything's so small.
Yeah, you barely
Number.
get any items. So even if you're unlucky, it's not very many items you need. But
Uh,
apparently, like, monster guts is a high-class food. Go figure. All the garbage parts of the creature.
hey, don't complain. They pay you for them.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not complaining. I'm just like, well, high-class food. That's all the garbage parts.
Oh dear. Pretty much.
Yeah, I'll go for a big juicy steak or a burger myself.
Mm,
I'll stick with the
steak.
common denominator of food.
Oh, it's all about how you prepare it.
True. But I'm still not gonna eat monster guts.
Yeah, no, not really.
And she's just gonna give you a quick householding tip, just in general, because at this point they probably expect you to you basically know about how the quest system work, and they're just giving you a couple of heads ups. Remember these quick tips, and you should be fine for the quests.
It's kind of. You don't really have to pay attention to the time limit that often,
No.
but it's something good that not to ignore, because when you suddenly find a quest that has a lesser time limit, you're gonna want to
Yeah.
notice.
Exactly. But you'll usually notice in the actual quest text, though most people don't
Yeah.
read that. I don't even read it half the time. I read it once for the flavor text, that's it. I'll find out what
Pretty much.
subquests I need later.
Right.
Like, I do remember there's like an arena quest in Freedom Unite where it's a multiplayer arena thing, and you get 10 minutes to do it. You have 10 minutes. You have to hurry.
Yeah,
And that
that.
surprised me the first time, because I think we almost ran out of time.
Suddenly, yeah,
Well,
it
the
doesn't
thing is,
come up very often, but when it does, it makes sure to be tight.
The thing is, we were just taking our time, and then we started noticing the timer blink, and then we're like, oh shit, and then we got reckless, and we died.
Yeah, that'll happen too.
Yeah. So, it's pretty simple to get monster guts. These creatures
Yeah.
here can give monster guts, bones, hydro hides, or raw meat. Get 2 carbs off of them. They're pretty weak. Nothing too tough.
They're the underwater Aptonoth.
Pretty much. Only they have more drops.
True enough.
Again, as mentioned by you, the guts are account items.
Yes.
Also, since I'm here, I might as well try for Jumbo Pearl.
You get one on video, I'm going to hate you forever.
I don't.
Well, all right then. I'll forgive you for continually reminding me about it.
Yeah. Well, it's not that I'm trying to, like, remind you about that haha I got, but it's just like, ugh, Jumbo Pearls. I hate them.
Pretty much.
It's something everyone has to deal with sooner or later. You might get lucky once, but every other time, not gonna happen.
You should try and deliver his guts. I bet they'd be worth more.
He's got big guts.
Yeah.
Remember when
money.
when we said the village elder was trolling? This is what we meant.
Oh, pretty much.
They were actually kind of giving you hints that the Legicrus, if you spot any large monster you're not ready to take, like him, for example, you should run.
Definitely.
That was kind of what they were hinting at.
If you try to fight him, you'll figure it out pretty quickly.
Basically, at this point, he's pretty much designed with the armors you have available to you to one-shot you.
Oh, and he will.
And he will. Like, the only thing he won't one-shot you with is, like, when he's turning around, it'll actually count as an attack, and it'll just chip off your health a little.
Right.
Small things like that won't one-shot you, but his actual attacks will maul you. But the quest is pretty simple. You just go to the area he's not in and continue gathering.
Yep. They force you to trigger him by having not enough Epioth
Mm-hmm.
until you have, but once you do, there's a bunch, so it's fine.
And it's not really that hard to get. They usually cluster a lot of Epioth. And then when you trigger him, you see the pretty little cutscene, and you're like, oh, well, this isn't good. But I think there's actually a little fun fact about this quest here. I believe I recall reading that you cannot actually kill him.
Nope, he is plot invincible.
He is actually plot invisible, and if you do manage to bring some high-rank multiplayer weapons into this, you can manage to damage him to the point where he will just run away, but you cannot kill him.
Yeah, he will flee instead of die.
So
He works under the repel workings in this quest.
but that still won't win you the quest, though.
No.
You still gotta deliver those juicy guts.
Yep.
So that's something to keep in mind for all you brave or foolhardy hunters out there that just think, you know what, he's just a monster, I can take him. Well, good news is, I mean, I guess I should start with the bad news. The bad news is you can't. The good news is, if you die, hey, you'll go back to the camp where you can deliver faster. Speaking of which,
Are you really gonna suicide just to speed things up?
do you think I can take him?
Yeah, sure, you'll be fine.
Yeah, I'll be fine. All right, everybody, place your bets. How long till I die?
Oh, I give you 30 seconds.
All right. And if you haven't noticed that by now, his entire gimmick is he shoots with lightning. And a monster like this is why the current press is very nice to have.
Yeah, he has a lot of current attacks. Put it that way.
Whenever he charges by you like that, if you have current resistance, you're pretty much immune to being pushed around by that. Even some of his basic attacks like that will press you over. Whenever you see like white foam in the water happen, that's generally when like press will happen.
Yeah, pretty much.
And the press is a bad thing because it will basically, I guess the best term is it'll stun lock you. While it won't deal damage to you, you'll be flinched and kind of like trying to gain your bearings, and in that time he could probably come with an attack. And that there was a bad sign.
Yep, he is charging his power.
Exactly. I am surprised though at the amount of attacks I'm able to get in on him without my weapon bouncing. That's pretty unusual.
His chest is pretty weak, but I'm still surprised you could hit it with what sharpness you've got right now.
Yeah. You're supposed to have green sharpness to be able to hit him without bouncing, and even with it, I just had a lot of lucky strings of attacks. But, you know, I was kind of hoping that, you know, he'd one-shot me at some point, but, you know, I decided this would be a pretty boring video if all you do is see me fight Lagiacrus and fail at dying. So, you know...
Well, I'm impressed that you survived as long as you did.
Well, then, to be honest, I'm pretty good at fighting that guy with the lance. I've done this many times before.
You are a specialist with the lance.
Well, I'm not a tri-specialist.
Well, it's pretty similar still.
So, I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna give him a free shot. He will occasionally pop his head out and shoot lightning at you if you just stand by the water here. But even that, he just ignores me. He's like, well, no.
The LP curse. If you try to die, it'll never happen.
Yeah. I was actually trying to die this entire time while making it look like I'm putting up a good fight. But, you know, the magic of jump cuts, we're just going to get sent to camp. I was actually trying to flub that, you know, get hit eventually and die, get sent to camp, just to kind of showcase his raw power. But since I didn't even get touched by him, really, I decided, you know, it'd be a pretty decent fight just to showcase.
Wow, that cheer.
Yeah.
You have quite the voice with that cheer.
Yes, that is, well, she's a possessed lady after all. She's possessed by a ghost, so of course her voice is going to be horrible. Something for all you viewers who decided never to like vote on what character generation I should do, what I should do with it. I punish people. Ha ha.
It's not my fault, I swear.
Well, it's everyone else's fault.
Sure, we'll go with that.
But, you know, I got to showcase the Lance off a little bit. That was fun.
Oh, hey, it's a boat.
Oh, hey, boat. I wonder what that could mean.
I think it's a boat. It means it's a boat.
It means the village elder wants to talk to me.
Oh, well, he always wants to talk to you.
I know, he's always got something to say.
Anna.
I was hoping she'd have anything interesting to say, but she didn't. And, well, if you pay attention to a little bit of text here, she's gonna hint at the village elder for some reason has a lot of connections. And that will actually come into play later.
A little bit.
Well, actually a lot. It comes into play throughout the entire main story.
Well, yeah, but that's just it. The story only comes into play a little bit.
Yeah, that is true, but more so than any other Monster Hunter game.
Also true.
Like, in the previous Monster Hunter games, the first and second generation, there was no story. It was just, hey, go out and hunt monsters and have a blast. Speaking
Story
of having
was
a blast,
your job is to kill monsters. Do it.
speaking of having a blast, she just made a blast joke.
You had to point it out.
Actually, that was completely unintentional, but then I read the text real quick and I'm like, oh, shit. No. No. Why am I advocating her joke? Well, I guess I should just point it out now. Before somebody else
no.
does.
It's the shanty guy.
Yeah, he has the worst songs. Oh. And I think he only has like 3 songs throughout the entire game or something like that.
Pretty much.
Like, he's fairly worthless to talk to. But, you know, here's his songs for the people who want to read them. Even, like, his teammates will comment on, they wish he'd just stop singing. He's not very good at it.
No, he really isn't.
No. And who sings the words glub 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 in their song?
He's creative.
No.
We'll go with that.
Unfortunately, there's so much creativity for him that he should just, you know... I don't know what I'm going for. I think what I'm going for here, as I'm trying to say, is too much creativity is a bad thing, and that he should stop.
This is very true.
But the others will have a couple more interesting things to point out and say. Like, just, you know, there's a lot of monsters under the water, a lot of big monsters, and things that haven't been, like, noted down by the guilds and whatnot.
Right.
So it kind of makes sense that in the third generation of Monster Hunter that they'd start, you know, having you fight underwater as a gimmick because they could actually do more with the game engines and just make it as like a new thing, if you will.
Right.
But this guy, he's the fleet captain. And his mission is fishing.
Oh dear.
That is what he says.
It is, yes.
And, well, you know, the fleet captain's a pretty cool guy, I guess. Even though he has a bit of an ego.
Yeah, somewhat.
Oh man, we're totally better than hunters, but, you know, Lagiacrus blew up our boats. But we're totally better than you hunters. Yeah.
Oh yes, of course.
Yeah. Of course. Clearly you're the best of hunters who use boats when you can't even stand up 2 seconds against Lagiacrus. I did better than that.
Already you did better than that, yes.
Yeah, actually I did. That's the sad thing. But seriously, if you've never played the game before, don't fight that Lagiacrus unless you just really want to see how hard he hits you, out of curiosity. I'll guarantee he'll pretty much 1 or 2 shot you, depending on what he's doing.
Probably just 1 shot in this case.
Yeah, probably just 1 shot. Again, depends on what you're wearing. You could... no, the chainmail armor would probably kill you faster if you're doing a lightning attack.
Probably.
I believe that thing has minus lightning resistance. It is made out of metal, after all.
Indeed.
But, you know, he explains a little bit about general things, but nothing too exciting. The one thing to keep in mind is that he does point out that the fish he can get, which we'll get into in a little bit, but they can be used to generate resource points, as we've seen on the resource point chart.
Yep.
The whole reason for these guys is they're the fishing fleet, and you have a farm one end, and you can send people out to go fishing for you.
The Stinky Sea Devil. That's a good name for Laggy.
Yeah, it is. It is a pretty good name. Music got sad and dramatic all of a sudden.
For no reason. No one died. It's okay.
No villagers were harmed in the making of this LP.
Well, maybe a couple.
Well, not on screen.
Oh, right. Fair enough. We'll just pretend I never said that.
Yeah. But, yeah, this is why in an earlier video we said, well, you know, fishing isn't that important a little later on in the game, just because you can actually send NPCs out to go fish for you.
And that's much easier, and you'll get far more that way.
Mm-hmm. And for no effort as well. It'll cost you farm points, but you can easily earn that in by selling your fish.
Yeah, they get enough to pay for themselves, no problem.
Mm-hmm. And more. Like,
oh yeah.
An easy exploit for money is you send the fishing fleet out to get fish, and then turn it all into resource points, and then you turn, as I mentioned before, the adamant and might and storm center seeds. You use all your points that you get from that to farm them, and then you sell the seeds.
Yep.
That's a pretty good way to exploit money early on. It's not really an exploit, and it's just more, these give you a lot of money, how can I make these real fast?
Yeah, pretty much.
But personally, I prefer to make money from just hunting large monsters, just because, well, I don't know, I just like the practice. And
Practice is good.
I can always sell monster parts I don't need. But,
oh, and he explains how to cancel conversations, which you promptly do.
Yeah, I just wanted to showcase it.
Yes, that's a nice thing, I think, in this game. Considering that most people usually have multiple things to say and then loop around, you can just kind of close the window on them.
Exactly.
They're like, nope, no thanks.
I will, though, you know, like, as he mentioned, if they have a really boring conversation. By the way, the thing you cut me off, I was actually about to point out that I did cut him off right there.
Yeah.
Just to demonstrate. And they talk a little bit about, he talks actually a little bit about the hunting fleet. I do actually enjoy reading the lore in video games, even though some people find it very boring and very dull. Excuse you.
Thank you. Why would I try and say bless you?
I had, because you, I don't know, thought I sneezed?
Yes, I heard that, and I'm like, oh, someone sneezed. Wait.
And there's a strange pixie wandering about. That's, well, it's probably nothing.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that'll never come up again.
Indeed. It's not foreshadowing at all. But I can talk to the fishmongers now, as they mentioned. And, by talking to her, I can gain access to the fishing fleet. A laggy whatever. Well, okay. She apparently doesn't care.
It's not that important.
No. But, you know, we're kind of curious on how the fishing fleet operates.
They fish and they bring it back.
Occasionally you can toss an item to increase the speed that they come back in, or increase the amount of items they find.
Yep.
And depending on where it is you send them to, it'll take longer or less time. But if the longer it takes them is usually the one you want to go for, because they come back with better items.
Of course.
Unless there's something specifically you want. Like, you won't get every type of fish by sending on the longest voyage.
Right.
And as she mentions, you can just toss in the fish to get resource points. And the power paddle I got there was one such item that could decrease the time. Another thing to keep an eye on is their remarks. If they say they could probably get a good catch in a certain place, then you generally want to send them there because they can get more items. And this also increases their happiness. And when you've done enough of their requests, they will get a temporary star, which means it's like a temporary level to them.
Right.
And that means you can send them to even higher level areas.
Before you've actually given them proper upgrades.
And even after you got all the upgrades, which you can see by the stars, you can get a extra temporary star, so you can get technically access to 4-star areas.
Yep.
Which have really the best stuff.
By far.
But, being that we just completed an Urgent and have gotten into 2-star stuff, there's a lot of NPCs to talk to.
There sure are.
And apparently there is also a farm upgrade.
Should be simple enough.
It's just points.
Oh, well, that's exceptionally simple.
Yeah, and not very many points either. They will start taking a bit more than just points.
Yes.
But on the bright side, I now have a shroom farm.
Yay.
I can now, if I have one of any type of mushroom, I can make more of them.
Dragon toadstools.
Those are always wonderful. But they are a bit pricey, though.
Yeah, and they take a long time, too.
No, they still only they don't take very long. Everything takes the same time.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it all takes the same amount of time. It's just depending on how many cycles I put it up for.
If you say so.
And, just check it out with the different NPCs, seeing if they have anything. And, unfortunately, they don't have anything exciting to remark. So, we'll all see you next time.